This video contains highlights of the 1970 Colts vs. Jets rematch of Super Bowl III. Jets quarterback Joe Namath made good on his guarantee to win the game, while NFL MVP Colts quarterback Earl Morrall had a performance that he'd rather forget. Joe Namath was again the starting Jets quarterback, but star wide receiver Don Maynard didn't play in the prior two games due to a leg injury and wasn't 100% for this game. Incidentally, he didn't make a catch in Super Bowl III due mainly to a hamstring injury. However, in this game, he caught a season-high 9 passes for a season-high 148 yards. The Jets were without workhorse running back Matt Snell, who suffered a torn Achilles tendon and not only didn't play during the remainder of the season, but didn't have another regular season carry in his career, even though he played in a total of 9 games in 1971 and 1972. The Colts were also without their heavy-hitting running back Tom Matte, who sustained a severe knee injury in the first game of the season. The Colts had a different head coach than the one in the Super Bowl. Don McCafferty had been a Colts assistant coach since 1959, but became their head coach in 1970. While Earl Morrall was the starting quarterback in the Super Bowl, he gave way to 3-time NFL MVP John Unitas in this game. The Colts had a 3-1 record and were favored to win by 2 points over the 1-3 Jets. On the game's first play from scrimmage, the Colts used a 2 wide receiver and 2 tight end alignment. Unitas hit tight end John Mackey for a 48-yard gain. Number 36 Norm Bulash was the Colts' number 1 draft pick in 1970. This 6'1", 220-pounder ran 8 times for only 7 yards. On 4th and 6, rookie kicker Jim O'Brien connected on a 28-yarder and took an early lead. His 32-yarder in the Super Bowl on January 17, 1971, won the game for the Colts. Bubba Smith deflected Namath's pass that landed into the hands of Jerry Logan. This strong safety made the Pro Bowl team at the end of the season on the basis of 6 interceptions, with 2 of them that were returned for touchdowns. Number 40 Mike Battle was the Jets' 1969 12th round draft pick. On this drive, Namath overthrew Maynard 3 times, and the Jets punted. Unitas went to work and played pitch and catch with number 33, Eddie Hinton, the Colts' first-round draft choice in 1969 out of Oklahoma. Unitas then passed to undersized backup tight end Tom Mitchell, who only weighed 215 pounds. In 1966, he was drafted by the Raiders, but released the following season and signed by the Colts. Unitas lofted a perfect pass over the hand of number 60, Larry Grantham, and into the hands of Mitchell. The score was now 17-0 Colts, with 10 minutes left in the first quarter. Namath fired to number 83, George Sauer Jr., who uncharacteristically dropped the ball. Sauer's dad was the Boston Patriots general manager in 1970. Sauer was held without a catch in this game, but caught 8 passes for 133 yards in Super Bowl III. Without Sauer's services, Namath repeatedly clicked with Don Maynard for nice chunks of yardage. Emerson Boozer's 10-yard run was the longest one of the game for the Jets. 5'10", 160-pound wide receiver Ed Bell was nicknamed the Flea, per 1971 The Sporting News Football Register. Somehow, Jim Turner's wounded duck of a field goal attempt made it over the crossbar, and New York was on the scoreboard. Colts 17, Jets 3. Norm Bulash had butterfingers, but Unitas recovered his fumble. The Colts had difficulty running the ball all day, so Unitas aired it out and into the awaiting W.K. Hicks, who made a fine one-handed catch. Namath wasn't about to stop passing. He threw 62 passes, the most he ever threw in a game. Ed Bell had a career-high 12 catches in this game for 151 yards. He only had 246 yards for the season. At the 9-yard line, Namath waited too long to pull the pin. Number 32, Mike Curtis, picked him off in a costly turnover for the Jets. Unitas was in a giving mood too, when Gus Holloman leapt high to make a grab in front of intended receiver Roy Jefferson. In the sandbox portion of Shea Stadium, Namath dropped back 10 yards and drilled Emerson Boozer with a pass just short of the first down marker. However, Namath again threw late, this time into double coverage, and Jerry Logan bolted in front of Don Maynard for another interception. With a comfortable lead, Unitas threw a screen pass to Bulash, who had only caught 22 passes while in college at Texas Christian University. The Jets' number 21, Steve Tannen, was the Jets' number 1 pick in 1970, and he made an exceptional tackle. The Colts' offensive line provided great passing protection for Unitas on this play. Number 87, Roy Jefferson, was traded from the Steelers to the Colts for wide receiver Willie Richardson and a draft choice. On July 31, 1971, he was peddled to Washington for wide receiver Cotton Sparer and the Redskins' 1973 first-round draft pick. Unitas wanted 6 points, but his pass to tight end John Mackey was just off his fingertips. Unitas tried the other side of the field, but a leaping W.K. Hicks prevented a touchdown. Jim O'Brien made an 18-yard field goal attempt to make the score 20-3. It was no secret that Namath had to pass, and he bit the dust for one of his 3 sacks on the day. Namath's 34 pass completions is a career high. His next best total is 29. This one to Ed Bell fell short of the first down marker, and the Jets punter Steve O'Neill punted to the Colts' 4-yard line. Defensive tackle John Elliott almost caught Unitas in the end zone on this play, and he did catch running back Jack Maitland on this one. Colts 20, Jets 5. David Lee punted, and Mike Battle was knocked out. This really wasn't one of Namath's best games. He underthrew this pass to Maynard by 5 yards and into a crowd. Jim Turner didn't get nearly enough leg into this kick, and Jim Duncan returned it 28 yards. While Namath was struggling overall, Unitas wasn't having a walk in the park either. He was sacked 4 times for 30 yards and losses. Colt defensive ends Bubba Smith and Billy Newsome whacked Namath, and Ted Hendricks piled on for good measure. The Jets still had some fight left in them, however, as shown by a battling Pete Lamons who refused to go down. Namath fired a laser-guided missile to Ed Bell that was as good as it gets. Namath threw late when he hesitated to pull the trigger, which allowed rookie defensive back Tom Curtis to cross in front of Maynard and break up the pass. The Jets got the ball back, but kicker Jim Turner continued to have problems. As time was running out in the first half, Steve Tannen pried the ball away from Roy Jefferson and caused the 7th turnover of the game. Seven seconds into the second half, the scoreboard changed again when Bob Grant picked Namath's pocket. The point-after attempt failed, and the score was 26-5. Lightning struck yet again when Jerry Logan tipped this Namath pass, quickly located the ball, and secured his third interception on the day. Unitas too was prone to interceptions in this game, as he threw 3. Both quarterbacks were forced to pass because the Colts averaged 2.52 yards per carry, while the Jets averaged only 2.18. This was a key reason for the 7 total sacks and 9 total interceptions in this game. Here's a beautiful quick look-in pass to Eddie Hinton that covered 15 yards and kicked up more baseball infield dirt. This drive stalled when Unitas was sacked and the Colts were forced to punt. Running back Matt Snell's absence really hurt the Jets. Lee White ran 5 times for only 6 yards. There was no sense in trying to run the ball. Check out Joe's jump pass. Tight end Pete Lammons was a steady performer. He started all but 1 game for the Jets in his first 6 seasons with them. This play-action pass didn't fool any Colts, but Lee White caught the ball anyway. The Jets' first-round draft pick in 1968 was released and signed via waivers by the Rams on September 9th, 1971. Jim Duncan had a fine 43-yard return. He led the NFL with the highest average return in both 1969 and 1970. While his career 32.6 average is incredible, he didn't have enough returns to qualify for the NFL record. Number 17, Sam Havrillak's 12-yard run was the longest in the game for either team. He was converted to wide receiver for the 1971 season and played that position for 4 years. He fell just short of a first down on this play, and the Colts kicked a field goal to increase their lead to 29-19. Namath again underthrew Maynard by 5 yards, and Jim Duncan stepped in to pilfer his first career pass. He returned it 30 yards. The Colts spun their wheels and returned the ball to the Jets. Jim Turner finally clicked, and the Jets were now within a touchdown, 29-22. Time was running out on the Jets, and they needed possession of the ball quickly. So John Dockery tried a tricky onside kick that failed. By the time the Jets got the ball back, precious time remained. Defensive back Jim Duncan had a terrific game. Here he knocked the ball out of Emerson Boozer's grasp. This sure looked like a legitimate catch to me, but it was ruled incomplete. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. In the end, it didn't matter because the Colts gained possession of the ball and simply ran out the clock.